On December 6, 1944, World War II was nearing its end. But high above the Atlantic skies, one American pilot was fighting a different kind of enemy. Not Germany, not Japan, but time, isolation, and the endless ocean. His name was Captain William Fraser, an Air Force pilot assigned to a secret reconnaissance mission between Britain and Portugal. One plane, an infinite sea, and a single message that must never fall into the wrong hands. 5 a.m., a small metal briefcase was loaded into the cockpit of a Lockheed Hudson aircraft. Orders were clear. Fly to a base in Lisbon, deliver the new communication codes for Allied forces in North Africa, and return immediately. But there was one problem. Weather reports detected a massive storm forming over the Atlantic. The base commander tried to cancel the flight, but Fraser smiled and said, "I've seen worse than this. The sea doesn't scare me." The first few hours passed peacefully, but as he reached the middle of the ocean, all radio contact was lost. The radar showed nothing but a white blur of clouds and storms. Fraser was alone flying through hell. The last message received at the base read, "Fuel running low. Can't see anything, but I'll keep going." Then silence. Minutes later, the aircraft disappeared from radar. No distress signal was ever sent. The next day, search operations began. Over 50 planes combed the area. No trace, no wreckage, no oil slick, no signal, nothing. It was as if the ocean had swallowed it whole. U.S. intelligence classified the mission top secret. Some said the Germans shot him down. Others claimed the plane had been hijacked after an emergency landing. But not a single piece of evidence was ever found. The file was closed after a few weeks. The war ended, but the legend of Captain Fraser did not. In 1974, off the coast of Iceland, a fisherman was hauling in his nets when he found a rusty metal box tangled inside. When opened, inside was a small sealed briefcase marked with the U.S. Air Force insignia. It contained the same documents Captain Fraser had been carrying 30 years earlier. Investigations revealed the box had floated for years before becoming trapped in ice, only to be released again decades later. But the strangest part, the papers inside were perfectly preserved, as if someone had carefully protected them. Among them was a handwritten note. "The sky was more beautiful than I expected, but the sea never ends." During the 1970s, strange reports began to surface from commercial pilots. Some claimed that, during flights over the Atlantic, a faint old signal would suddenly appear on their instruments, then vanish within seconds. That signal matched the frequency of Fraser's missing plane. Some said it was just electrical interference. Others swore they heard a voice on the radio saying, "Fuel running low, but I'll keep going." Since then, pilots have called that region Fraser's Sky, a place where, they say, lost aviators still fly forever. In 1999, the U.S. Department of Defense declassified hundreds of old files. Among them was a report titled Operation Fraser. It stated that the pilot may have encountered a strong magnetic anomaly that disrupted his instruments and caused him to fly in circles until his fuel ran out. But the report failed to explain how the radio signals reappeared 30 years later, or why the recovered letter was written in handwriting that seemed newer than the date of the crash. Some believe it's all a myth, but to his family, Fraser was a hero who never failed because, simply, he never stopped flying. In the U.S. Air Force archives, his mission is still listed as missing in action. But every year on December 6th, small lamps are lit along the runway of the London base to honor the man who vanished into the sky and never returned. Maybe he fell into the sea, or maybe he never fell at all. Maybe he's still out there, above the clouds, flying in silence, as he wrote in his final words, "I'll keep going, because some wars aren't fought on the ground, but in the heart against forgetting."